This is the story of a young woman named Emily. A year ago, she had a good life. She lived in downtown Detroit, had a stable job, and even owned her own apartment. At her age, that was a big deal. She was proud of what she had built. Then came Nolan, a new guy at her office. He seemed smart, kind, and full of dreams. At first, they were just work friends, sharing lunch, helping each other with office work. Slowly, things turned into something more. They became a couple. Nolan told Emily about his dream of starting a supermarket in the city. He had big ideas, and he talked about it with so much passion that Emily believed every word. Soon they moved in together. Nolan told her he was serious about the business but didn't have the money to start. Emily, wanting to help him, made a risky choice. She sold her apartment and gave the money to Nolan. That wasn't all. She also quit her job, even though her company told her she wouldn't be hired back. But she didn't care. She trusted Nolan completely and believed they were building a future together. Then came the shock. Nolan said he needed to go out of the city for 2 days to meet a friend who could help with the business. Emily waited. 2 days passed, then a week. No Nolan. He didn't come back, and he stopped answering her calls. At first, she worried something bad had happened. She searched for his family but couldn't find anyone. When she went to the police, the truth hit her hard. Nolan already had 3 cases filed against him. He was known for cheating women, stealing their money, and disappearing. Emily was crushed. She had lost everything: her home, her job, her savings. All she had left was a broken heart and a painful lesson. Now she was alone, living in one of the roughest areas of Detroit, trying to start over with nothing. She trusted the wrong person, and it cost her everything. With very little money, Emily had no choice but to rent a small room in a rough neighborhood. Trouble was everywhere. People got robbed, followed, or shouted at almost every day, and Emily was no different. She had been mugged twice. Once, a man even followed her and stood outside her door for hours until the police came. She lived in fear every single day. To pay her bills, she got a job at a restaurant counter. It didn't pay much, but it was all she had. She couldn't afford to move, so she just tried to survive. She avoided walking alone at night, rushed home after work, and kept her head down. She ignored the stares and the rude comments, hoping one day her life would get better. Then one day, feeling lonely, she visited a nearby animal shelter. She thought about getting a cat, but instead of a cat, she met a dog. Or maybe it was the dog that chose her. A police officer walked into the animal shelter with a big German shepherd by his side. The dog looked calm and strong, but her eyes seemed tired, like she had seen a lot in her life. One of the workers at the shelter leaned over and whispered to Emily, "She's a retired police dog. No one at the station could keep her, so we're trying to find her a home." Emily's heart jumped. A police dog? That sounded like the perfect match. She needed someone to help her feel safe again. She walked up to the officer and told him everything: how she lived alone, how scared she was, and how bad things had gotten. She asked, almost begged, if she could take the dog home. The officer didn't ask many questions. He looked at her for a moment, then handed over the leash. The dog's name was Willow. As they walked out of the shelter together, something felt different. Emily didn't feel alone anymore. People on the street looked away instead of staring. The men who used to whistle at her stayed silent. Maybe it was Willow's size, or maybe her serious eyes, but Emily finally felt safe. She took Willow home and tried to make her feel welcome. But Willow didn't seem too excited. She walked around slowly, sniffing every corner with her tail hanging low, like she was searching for something. At night, things got even stranger. Willow didn't sleep much. She walked around the room with her ears up, always listening. Every time a siren echoed in the street, Willow ran to the window and stayed there, alert. It felt like Willow still thought she was on the job. Emily felt sad seeing her like that. She didn't want Willow to feel lost, so she stayed home more often, gave her treats, and showed her lots of love. Slowly, Willow started to change. She played more during the day and wagged her tail again, but at night, she still stayed watchful. Even so, Emily felt safer. With Willow by her side, she wasn't afraid anymore. One day, Emily needed to get some cash. Rent was due, and the only working ATM was a few blocks away. But that place had a bad name. No cameras, no lights. People often got robbed there. Still, Emily had no choice. She waited until the sun was out, and Willow was wide awake. Then they left together. The streets were quiet, but when they reached the ATM, a few shady-looking guys stood nearby. They acted like they weren't watching her, but Emily could feel their eyes. Her hands shook as she took the money out. Willow stayed close, her eyes sharp, body stiff. They turned to walk home. Emily could feel it. Someone was watching them. Willow kept glancing back, too. Just as they turned the corner, 3 men in hoodies came straight at them. They didn't smile. They didn't speak. Emily froze. Her heart raced. She held Willow's leash tighter and softly said her name. Willow stood still for a second. Then she let out a deep growl. Not a playful one, but loud and serious. Her teeth showed. Her eyes didn't blink. She looked ready to fight. The men stopped. Then, without a word, they crossed the street and kept walking. Emily didn't move until they were far away. When she got home, she dropped to the floor and hugged Willow tightly. She gave her extra treats, rubbed her ears, and kept saying, "Thank you." That day, Willow wasn't just a pet. She was a hero. The days went on, and Emily started noticing something about Willow. At night, she still acted like she was working. She didn't sleep much. She just sat by the door, alert and listening. Whenever a siren passed by, Willow would run to the window, like she was ready to go help. It made Emily wonder, maybe Willow missed her old life. Maybe she still felt like a police dog. One evening, Emily had to go to the ATM again. She didn't like that place, but she needed money. So, like before, she took Willow with her. When they got there, 2 people were already in line. Emily didn't feel like standing around, so she took a short walk with Willow and came back once it was free. But now, someone new was there. A man stood nearby with his hood up and head down. He wasn't using the machine. He was just standing there. Emily felt a chill. Willow stared at the man. Her body stiffened. Emily quickly used the ATM, trying to stay calm. As she turned to leave, the man stepped forward. Willow growled low. Emily tried to walk away, but the man kept following them slowly. Then he moved faster. Emily's heart jumped. She screamed and pulled on Willow's leash, trying to run. But before she could move far, Willow did something strange. She didn't bark. She didn't attack. She jumped straight into the man's arms. Emily froze. She didn't understand what just happened. The man caught Willow like it was normal. He pulled back his hoodie. His eyes were full of tears. "That's my girl," he said, hugging her tight. "Her name's Willow. We were partners. I was her handler. His name was William. He used to be a police officer, but after an injury, he had to quit. He wanted to take Willow with him, but the department wouldn't allow it. He had no choice but to give her up. Now, fate had brought them together again, right on that street, and Emily finally understood why Willow had always seemed like she was waiting for something. She had been waiting for him. When he saw Emily and Willow walking around the neighborhood, he knew right away who she was. But he didn't want to scare Emily by rushing up, so he waited, hoping to get another chance to say hello, or maybe goodbye. That night at the ATM wasn't danger. It was a reunion. Emily was quiet, surprised, and a little shy. She didn't expect to see Willow's old partner. Seeing how much Willow trusted and loved him made her heart warm. The 3 of them walked home together. Emily and William talked a lot about Willow, about the city, and about their lives. Soon, they became friends. William started visiting Willow often. Sometimes they would sit outside, drinking coffee while Willow rested nearby. Emily felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. She wasn't alone. It all happened because of Willow, a brave dog who once wore a badge and never forgot her partner.